Wyatt begins in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Wyatt, and I'm your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans. Grr, woof, goddammit, woof, woof, woof. Yo, my listeners. This episode of Wyatt is the next installment in my series called Bedtime with Porn Guys. Let me say it again. Bedtime with Porn Guys. Oh, hell yeah. Now, I'm doing this special series because adult entertainment or porn can be a fundamental part in the lives of more than a few gay or SGL, same gender loving men. And at times, watching porn can be the safest way of scratching that itch, if you catch my drift. So y'all, today's porn guy is a divinely masculine, decadently built, and deliciously versatile gay SGL adult entertainer. He's one hell of a prolific and in-demand performer who's setting the porn universe on fire. Fire, y'all. So just who is this guy? Well, we're going to jump into him in just a few minutes. Hey, after the show, visit my online home, WyattEvans.com, the go-to destination for LGBTQ news, features, commentary, and entertainment. WyattEvans.com is visited by over 100 countries on the regular. Yeah, baby. At WyattEvans.com, you'll find my smoking hot, that's HAWT, hot, nothing can tear us apart series of novels. The current installment is titled Frenzy! Yes, Frenzy, which is chock full of masculine romance, intrigue, danger, and the blazing heat of 1,000 suns of erotic passion and steaming nastiness. A program note. My off and on sidekick, Madam Pussy Galore Cock-a-doodle-doo, Drag Queen Supreme, is still off. Actually, y'all, when you think about it, she's more off than on, if you catch my drift. Well, she's finally made it back to her house, after her very, very, very long journey, and she's resting up. Madam will, without a doubt, be back next time in full force and in rare form. Now it's time to bring on our special guest. He's that hot, hairy muscle daddy with the masculine voice. We're talking hard, no pun intended. Now, his new movie is titled Scrum, SCRUM, and his 4-star performance is getting rave reviews. And Scrum is a production of Raging Stallion, a top-tier gay adult entertainment company. And as well as being an adult model and actor, this gent's a go-go dancer. And his OnlyFans site page is thriving and well followed. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Killian Knox. Talk at me. How the hell
good.
are
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Did you like that intro?
It was really good.
Yeah. You definitely deserve that. I want to thank you for dropping by Wyatt. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here.
And, thank you. You know, Killian, I'm calling you the 3M daddy. Might you know what that means?
I don't.
You want to take a guess?
Male, masculine, macho.
Well, listen, you got one. Actually, you got one, which is really good. It means masculine, mature, and muscle. I mean,
Yeah, that was close.
Yeah, see, tell you. See, you've got that tough guy vibe going on, and you're quite affable and personable. So it's a very nice package.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now, listen, um, because inquiring minds really want to know, give us your stats, your height, your weight, that sort of thing.
All right, I'm 5'10", pretty average height. I'm right at 200 pounds. Have a 32-inch waist. Shaved head, very muscular. And that's pretty much me. I'm completely versatile. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that too, as far as a marketing perspective. Mm-hmm. So, I'm glad you brought that out. What I like about your performances, man, is that you are clever. It's fun. You're passionate, and you're very verbal in your scenes. So that makes them really effective, and very stimulating to watch.
Good. That's what I'm trying to do. Is stimulate you.
Well, I kind of think you do that. Well, listen, a little later, we're going to do a deep dive into your blazing hot new movie called Scrum, which is produced by Raging Stallion, which is the premier gay SGL adult entertainment studio. And before I continue, I want to give a super special shout out to Mr. Toby Morris. And Toby's the VP of Sales and Marketing at Raging Stallion, Falcon, Naked Sword. And I really want to thank him for making our conversation possible. He is a giving guy, which I tremendously appreciate. So, yeah, Toby. Okay. Okay, my friend. Your Twitter page at Knox Killian states that you love feet, socks. You love feet, socks, undies, and sex. Yes. So what's that? Listen, inquiring minds, man, want to know, what is that all about?
It's always kind of been there. When I was much younger, I kind of noticed I'd hang out at a friend's house, and they would, we'd come in to kick off our shoes, and I could just look at them, the shoes even, and just kind of feel aroused. And guys in socks just really, really turn me on. It's not necessarily that I want to put them in my mouth, although I do, but I like looking at it. I really like looking at those ankles and socks and feet. And I tell you, when I go to the airport and you go to security and everybody's taking off their shoes and I see all those sock feet, it can be really fun. Yes, first thing I notice. I'm looking at people's ankles and their socks and their feet.
So that is definitely a turn on for you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love for guys to put their feet in my face, which may seem a little strange. It's strange to me, but it really does the trick for me whenever they do that. Yeah.
Well, listen, as the old saying go, whatever works, right?
Whatever works. Absolutely.
Okay, Killian, let's travel down the corridors of time. I believe you were born in 1973 in Coreytown, Tennessee.
That is correct, just outside of Knoxville, which is really close to Dollywood. Dolly Parton.
Nice, nice. Okay, look, I always get a big kick out of asking my guests this question, and here it is. What were you like as a little boy, a little nipper? What three characteristics or qualities best described you?
Well, adventurous. We weren't really allowed to be inside. My dad would not allow you to be inside if the sun was up. So I was always out and running around, and we lived very rural. So I always had an adventurous spirit about me. Always going and going. Skinny. I was real thin.
What?
Real thin. I could eat anything on this planet and not put on an ounce of fat. So I was skinny, outgoing, and athletic. I played a lot of sports when I was very young. I loved being outdoors and doing all that.
Wow. I can't believe you were actually skinny. So you, worked out, bulked up, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I didn't actually start till I was 30. I never picked up a weight until I was 30. So when people kind of compliment me on my musculature or whatever, and that I work out a lot, I still remember the first 30 where I was skinny as a rail. So sometimes, it's kind of hard getting used to being the muscle guy now, because for so long I was so thin, so thin, at least 40 pounds lighter than this when I was 30.
Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, let's jet forward. You started your adult entertainment career, I believe, 2018.
Yeah, very recent.
Well, usually most guys in the business, I believe, start in their 20s. Why? Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Because I interviewed a porn star, Tancredo Buff, who I think Tancredo got into the business at like 45. So for you, Killian, why did you make the move to the industry after age 40?
Well, pretty much my whole 20s, I was married to a woman. So it was not really an option at that point. And like I said, in my 30s, I had just kind of started working out and, trying to get my career going and everything. And then right around my 45th birthday, a good friend who is Insta famous, right? Saw some pictures that I'd taken of myself, personally, not professional or anything, and said, you should post those. And post them out there. I'm like, it's me in underwear. I was thinking, that's pretty scandalous. He's like, oh, no, do it.
Right.
I'll send you some stuff. So I did, and people would ask, do you do porn? And I kept saying no. And then one day someone said, well, you should, and here's a phone number to call. And kind of on a lark, I called. I thought, why not? I'm 45, what harm could it do? And within 3 weeks, I had my first shoot.
That is amazing. Okay, that brings me to my next question. What was your first porn gig like? Were you scared? Did you have trepidation? Did it turn out the way you thought it might? Give us details. We want to know. I want to know.
It is a riot. Okay, so my first porn shoot was supposed to be in Miami. And right before I was supposed to go, they gave me a sorta porn shoot, kind of a warm-up, which is a website called My Friend's Feet, right? And I love feet. So I thought, sure, this would be great. And you don't have to have sex or anything. I'm like, okay, no problem. Feet, got it. No sex. Great way to warm up. And I get there, and very, very sexy Ricky Larkin is there to be my scene mate.
Oh, yeah.
And the first scene, I'm a runner and he's a doctor and I need to have him look at my feet. He looks at my feet and he gets off, and that's great. And the second scene, they're like, oh, we're going to do another one. I'm like, okay, well, that's two. And they say, all right, this time you want to return the favor and do his feet. So I'm like, okay. And I do that. And they're like, have you ever been stepped on? And I'm like, what? And they're like, no, stomped on. I'm like, what? And they said, yeah, stop. I said, well, no. And said, well, you want to try it? I'm like, I guess. So they had me lay down on the ground. And here's this 200-something pound guy stomping on me back and forth. And then the director goes, now jack off.
Whoa.
So I was like, okay. And I kind of did. And I thought, okay, he got off, I got off, time to go home. They go, oh, we're going to film one more. And I said, what? Well, I don't understand what's going to happen. They said, well, this is a tickle website. And we're going to tickle you for 30 minutes. And they bound my arms up behind my head, pull my shirt up. They put your feet in these locks, like a shackle kind of thing, and they tie your toe down with strings so you can't move. And then for 30 minutes, they just tickled the hell out of me. I thought, what have I done? I got myself into a sweat was pouring all off me. I was shaking. They used toothbrushes and, oh my gosh, and an electric toothbrush and a comb and a brush and feathers. You name it, they did it. So that was my very first foray into the porn world. Now, it wasn't full porn, but we did get off, but that was not at all what I was expecting, to be tickled relentlessly for like 30 minutes. But it's a thing and people love it.
I've seen those sites,
Yeah. And, it's a good thing that you had those extra 30 or 40 pounds of muscular on you to take that stomping.
Yeah, I mean, he was just giving it hell, and I thought, "Oh my God, what's happening here?" And but yeah, it was good. It was fun, and I look back on it, and it was pretty hot. My first real porno where I actually had sex, and the guy I performed with was straight, which I thought was kind of unusual.
Really?
Yeah, and it was nothing like I expected. We were in this beautiful penthouse. And I don't think I realized that you start and stop a whole lot. Like you do something and they get the cameras ready and then they make you pause and take pictures and they move around to get a different angle and you start back. So a lot of starting and stopping and it took quite a while. But in the end, you're having a little trouble getting hard. And he said, "Oh, we should watch some porn." I'm like, "Okay." So he puts up his phone and it's got this straight porn on it. I'm like, that is not going to work for me. So it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot on that one. But yeah, I do things a lot differently now, but it was a real surprise. A lot of fun.
Okay, on the traditional, I would say, first thing that you did after reflection, after it was over and you reflected, did you say to yourself, I could have done this better, or maybe something else would have worked better? That sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you learn angles, right? Because you're not really having real sex sometimes. Sometimes you are, but sometimes you're just trying to make sure that the camera can see you. So you're kind of angling yourself in these strange positions that maybe you wouldn't always do to make room for the camera to get in and see the goods and what's going on. And so I kind of to angle myself so that they would get better pictures. And I learned the importance of sound, right? So that the people can hear as much as they can see. And that's a very important part. And so you want to make sure and be audible and loud. And that was another thing that I learned. Of course, I also learned it works in reverse. We were filming, and all of a sudden the director said, "Stop. And there was a dog in the other room licking from a bowl, and he could hear it on his headphones. So we had to pause to get Fluffy to go outside in the yard so we wouldn't make too much noise licking that water. It was hilarious.
That is hilarious. You know what, Killian, I'm glad you brought this out because I think too many people might think that, you just go in, when you're filming a porn movie, you just go into it and, from stop to finish. But, it's so much more than that.
Oh, so much more. And it can vary depending on the studio. Some studios just want you to just have sex and they'll film it. But some have a story in mind and they have angles or like storyboards that they want different things to be captured at different times. And so you have to work towards those goals. And so sometimes it's all sex and sometimes it's more planned out because they have something very specific they want to see. And so you have to kind of make sure that happens.
Well, listen, in preparation for this interview, in preparation for this interview, I looked at a lot of your stuff. And I mean, because, I've got to do my preparation, right? So anyway, I noticed that there's a story behind pretty much everything you do. There's a story. You don't just jump in and have sex. It's a story. Maybe you're, I think there was one scene where you were with a younger guy and you were working out naked. And I think he needed your help. And
yes.
You remember that one, right? And you were you showing him the ropes.
Oh yeah. I'm frequently a stepdad. I get cast as stepdad quite a bit, I guess, because I look a little like an accountant, because I am an accountant.
Okay.
But I don't have any visible tattoos, or actually we don't have any tattoos or piercings at all. And so if they want somebody to look kind of like a straight dad, I kind of fit the bill to some extent, I guess.
Right.
But I film a lot with young guys. It's really funny. I either film with really young boys who are my stepkids, or I'm their coach,
Yeah,
or I'm
coach.
usually in really kind of rough leather stuff, very super masculine, hairy and leather type stuff. I don't really have the middle ground too much. But Scrum kind of was that. Scrum was great. I got to do both. I got one scene where I'm just one of the guys on the team, and then the other one I was the coach, and, or the guy who rubbed you down. I rubbed him down really good.
Okay, I tell you what. First of all, two things. The thread I want to pick up on, if you don't mind, you said that you are an accountant. So are you an accountant by day and a dope and a dope performer at night?
Oh yeah, I have a full-time regular job where I configure software for construction companies.
Really?
Yeah, and I do this as much as I can.
Well, that is fascinating because I don't mean any harm, but I think that most men in porn, that's their full-time job. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, it is. A lot of them do it full time, and but since I came into it so late, I had to have another job, right? And so I have a really good job that I do through the week, but I travel a lot with it, so I can go to these shoots pretty easily, and so it's a great thing for me to do on the side.
Well, that really makes you, as Mr. Spock would say, fascinating. And it's very, very smart because you're looking out for both ends. That's great. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Okay. Do you have a scene type preference? Do you prefer a one-on-one over threesomes, or the reverse, and why?
I think I kind of like three or more sometimes because those scenes are usually less planned, and you can kind of do kind of your own thing because it's just too hard to plan out for 3, 4, 9 people. And so those are more just kind of get in there and have sex and have fun. And I'm really good in or more scenarios because I like to group interlock. It's not me and a guy with the other guy watching. I get us all together and make use of all the parts. And so I kind of like doing that quite a bit. One-on-one is perfectly fine. I love it too, but a lot of those are more of the stories where you're aiming for a goal, and the groups are more just kind of get in there and go at it.
So with the threesomes and the orgies, they are more spontaneous. And correct me if I'm wrong, that probably brings out more of an energy, more of a, I don't know, maybe a rush from the performers, out of the performers.
Well, and you're not having to worry about hitting a mark or getting into a certain position at a certain time. And so you're able to focus more on the other things like the sounds that you're making, and can they see what I'm doing, and less about, okay, in 30 seconds, I need to transition to eating ass or something like that. Right? And that's literally what you do. Now in the groups, it's not that they don't have a story necessarily, but you might discuss it ahead of time. These are the 3 or 4 things we'd like for you to do, just kind of, and then go for it. Whereas on one-on-one, a lot of the times, you kind of have something very specific you're trying to do.
I'm really liking this, Killian, because how should I put this? You are really into the nuts and the bolts, the actual process that makes a porn movie the best it can be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're really deep down into the layers and into the nuances that makes it work. And that is really helpful because you're giving the viewer like myself a really great experience, the best experience that the viewer could have.
Right. And you're also trying to give the editor options, right? so that when they're putting it together, if they can come up with something great, right? And if it's just the same thing every single time, then they're probably bored. And so I try to mix it up a little bit, or do things that I don't see a lot in porn, just to give them some variety, so that it's a little bit different.
Well, thank goodness for you, because I have to say that you have some porn stars, performers, that they're basically doing the same thing over and over again.
I guess I try to mix it up.
Right.
Most of the people I'm with are kind of the mindset. They'll go right along with whatever we're doing. But yeah, I guess some people, if they've done it so long, again, I've only been doing this a little bit of time, right? And so it's still very fresh for me.
Right.
And maybe somebody who's been doing it 10, 15 years, sometimes they may not give it their own 200%.
Got it. Now, speaking of threesomes, what are the ingredients, if you will, that make a threesome work successfully, that really turn the viewers on?
I definitely think if a real chemistry between you and the people you're with, and luckily I almost always have that. I try to maybe beforehand flirt around a little bit, do some stuff off screen to kind of get some chemistry going. But then there's an adventurous spirit where you're trying things and going with the flow, and not being shocked by them, but thinking, oh, this might work. And that excitement level of, okay, we're going to try you sitting this way and me sitting this way, and you're going to put this here and I'm going to put this there. And as you're figuring out, the audience is watching you figure it out, and they're invested. At least I think so.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I see where you're going. In your scene work, you are versatile, both top and bottom. Does being versatile, Killian, make you more marketable as an adult entertainer?
I don't actually think it does. I know a few people who are all of one or the other, and they don't seem to be hurting for work. And some scenes I'm booked to do one thing, some scenes I'm booked to the other, and some we flip. But yeah, I don't know that it makes me any more marketable. Okay. I think what makes me marketable is a muscle guy with a beard and no tattoos. I really think that can make a difference, right? If you're looking for a certain type of guy, sometimes you need somebody who can be really rough, and in the scenes I'm really rough, but I don't necessarily look rough.
Right. And sometimes you can overdo it with the whole tattoo thing. So, yeah.
Oh no, I love it, absolutely love it, but it's not for every scene, right?
Right.
Definitely when I'm in the leather scenes and stuff like that, more tattoos, more hair, better. Let me have it, all of it. But if you're if you're supposed to be the little league coach,
yeah,
that's when everything all over you might be too much. You never know.
That is so true. Okay, let me hit you with this one. In your scenes, do you prefer being top or bottom, or does it matter to you at all?
It doesn't matter to me at all. I like knowing the vibe of the scene and what's going for, and I think I look better topping, because I can get really into it topping, and so I think that's a great thing. Of course, I'm not super hung like a lot of porn stars are. So in general, that usually means you do the bottom, just because the visual of it going in and out. If you've not got as much going in and out, makes it a little harder to see. And so, but I love the bottom. I love somebody just take over and destroy me. But when I'm topping, I definitely want to be the destroyer.
And that you are, my brother. That you are. My listeners, you've got to check him out if you haven't already, because yes, you are the gladiator. Okay, it's time to really get down and dirty, but in a hell of a good, but in a good and satisfying way. Give us please give us the complete 411 on your new Raging Stallion release, Scrum. What's the storyline, the plot line? What do you do?
Oh my God, I had such a good time. These guys were absolutely amazing to work with. My first scene was with two guys who had never filmed in a studio before.
Whoa.
And now they've done lots of OnlyFans work, so they're no stranger to having system camera, but they'd never done a studio shoot. And this is top-notch studio shoot, right? They really go way better than a lot of other studios. Just have lots more staff to do it, right?
Raging Stallion is the best. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. And we got together, and we weren't allowed to see each other beforehand. We were all in the same hotel on the same floor, but because of COVID, we as soon as we got there, we had to lock ourselves in our rooms, and we couldn't go anywhere. So we hadn't actually got a chance to talk to each other. And before the shoot, we just got to talking and instant chemistry. It was absolutely wonderful. And then when we, so the premise, right, is it's a rugby team, and we've just finished the big game or whatever. And we all come running into the locker room, and then various things happen from the locker room out. There's the shower scene. We're all showering together, very hot, very steamy. And we got to do that with a group of people, right? Even though we didn't shoot with everybody, the other guys were on hand. So that was the only time we were with a bunch of the guys in the shower. We're all naked, and our bodies rubbing together. It was just really, really fun. We're like, oh, can we keep this part going a little bit longer? But no, that was just the kind of middle part. And so the first thing that I do, apparently, me and Chad Hammer, we've kind of stolen away to the locker room, and I'm starting to make out with him and doing some oral. And Cole Connor, who's just absolutely great, is in the shower, and he sees us, and he wants to get in on that.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
So, oh, yeah. And, of course, we want him to join in, too. And he comes over, and things progress, and that is a really fantastic three-way. We were so into it. And because they hadn't done studio before, everything was so fresh and exciting to them and to me because of them. And it was just amazing.
Now,
it was just amazing.
Give us
that scene was great.
Give us the names of your screen partners for that scene again, please.
That was Cole Connor, who is now an exclusive with Raging.
Oh, great.
And Chad Hammer. And they are just absolutely incredible guys. Incredible guys off screen. We had such a good time in between, laughing and carrying on. Just wonderful. And so that scene was amazing. And then the next day, I had a scene with Vander Lasky, and he's just beautiful. He's so sexy.
He is.
And this one, he's coming in to get his shoulder worked on. Of course, I'm at the urinal because that's, when I peek over, and he's like, "Oh, you rub your shoulder. Mm-hmm. Let Coach rub your shoulder a little bit." And so I go over and I start rubbing his shoulder, and then I rub a little bit more, and then why don't you lay down? It'd be easy for me to get it in there and get in there, all right. And we end up flipping, and it is hot. It was good. Very good. So two scenes. One, Vander Pulaski.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah, he's beautiful. They're all so sexy. It's like pinch me to get to work with them.
Well,
it sounds such a good time.
Well, Killian, it sounds like you had just a little bit of fun doing those scenes.
Oh yeah, those were amazing fun. Great chemistry with everybody.
Wonderful. Well, Raging Stallion is an awesome company. It really is.
Oh yeah, top notch all the way. I had such a good time. They took such good care of us. It couldn't be any better.
Let me ask you this question, Killian. How important, actually crucial, is promotion for an adult performer's success?
It's very, very important because a lot of adult entertainers make a lot of money off of their OnlyFans, right?
Oh, okay.
Or they're just for fans. That's a great revenue stream for them. And promotion, get your name out there, get you known, and will drive people to that. Mm. And so, plus, the more promotion you get, and the more popular you become more marketable, and people want you in their films. So it's always good to get the promotion out there and going. But yeah, it definitely helps with driving people to see your Twitter, which then drives people to your OnlyFans, which generates a little pocket change, you know.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're a go-go dancer as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, that's really where I kind of started before any of the porn. I loved dance, and I had a really popular, well, I still have a popular Instagram, but it was really popular before it got banned first or second time.
Whoa.
But I know, too much out there. But I got a message from the promoter for the Ram parties, Urson, and he said, "Hey, you wanna come dance in New York?" Yes, I do want to. I mean, I kind of changed my mindset at 45. Instead of saying, "Why would I do that?" I say, "Why wouldn't I? If anybody wants me at this age, I'm going to go." So here I go off to New York to a bar I've never been to meet a guy who I've never seen, and I got to dance for him at his Ram party, and he puts them on all over the U.S. And every few months or so, he'll call me and say, "Hey, you want to dance in Dallas, or you want to dance in Denver?" Or this next weekend, we're dancing in Tampa as everything starts to open up a little bit. And so I really took to it. And I've got to dance in Kansas City. They have a bear bus there that they fly porn stars in to dance at. And I got to do market days. Wow. I love to do it. Just absolutely love it.
Well, does go-go dancing give you does go-go dancing give you more of a rush than, say, you would get from on camera performing?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Because it's just me up there having a blast, right?
Right.
You can't dance like that on the dance floor. You're too busy trying to, make a love connection there, right? But when you're up on a box, up there, and it's just the music, and you've got some time, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's a real thrill to be up there and dancing. You can get some tips, but sometimes you're in a place that it's not really easy to get tips. So it's really just about you putting on a show and having a great time. And so it's a real rush to get to do that.
Got it. Well, Mr. Killian Knox, what projects do you have on tap for the remainder of 2021?
Well, who knows what's coming up next, right? I have a few things in the can that are coming out soon. I do a lot of work with the natural born breeders and Hot Order Mail. I've got a couple of scenes there. And I just had one released with a redheaded boy for Twink Loads. We got another one of those Twink Loads, and yes, I sure took it all right. And we got another one of those coming out. Looks like I'm gonna have another scene booked up. I'm dancing next weekend, and I think I'll be down in Key West for Pride. Maybe doing a little sex show down there. You just never know. I never know what's going to happen. The phone will ring, or I get a message, and before you know it, I've got something else. We don't really book really far in advance, so you never really know.
Yeah. Okay. Would you give us the dates for your next weekend performance?
The date is Saturday. I think it's the 17th in Tampa at Christoph's. It's for the Ram party. He's just now getting those back up and running. Right? Everything's been shut down for so long. And he's going to have one on the July 4th called Daddyland in Dallas, which I hope to get to dance there too. So yeah, next weekend at Christoph's, on Saturday, I'll be dancing on a box with a couple of the boys, very little on, as little as let me get away with.
Listen,
and in Key West, you can get away with nothing on. So those are always fun.
You are a bad, nasty daddy.
Yes, I am.
And you know what? Thank God for that, because we need more quality, bad, nasty daddies.
That's me.
Okay.
I'm always on the lookout for a few more, too.
Okay, well, how does grown folk contact you, connect with you? Give us all of your social media, please.
Okay, so you can contact me through Twitter. I get a lot of messages through Twitter. It's Knox Killian, Knox Killia. You can always go to my OnlyFans. You can chat there. It's Knox1 Knox, the number 1, Knox1 Knox. And my Instagram, which is at the real Knox. In case you can see Knox is in there because I'm from Knoxville.
Yeah.
So
listen, I kind of picked that up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a little twang going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are the main ways. And of course, I've got my email out there on those sites. If you want to just shoot me an email, I respond to everybody. I love hearing from people. So send me a message. I'd love to hear from you.
Would you mind giving us your Twitter handle one more time?
Sure. The Twitter is Knox Killian, Knox Killian.
Wonderful.
Knox Killian.
Super. Well, Mr. Killian Knox, I want to thank you for visiting Wyatt. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, I've had a blast. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, listen, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.
So there you have it. You can find the official Wyatt podcast page on WyattEvans.com. The official hashtag is Wyatt on Air. Now, if you want to be a guest on Wyatt, or you just have comments, email me at WyattOnAir@gmail.com. And you can follow me, Wyatt O'Brien Evans, your host, on Facebook.com/Wyatt O'Brien Evans, on Twitter at Mr. Woe. That is MisterWoe, and on Instagram at Mr. Wyatt O, MrWyatto. And be sure to check out my Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels, the latest being Frenzy, and its predecessor, Rage, at WyattEvans.com. So until next time, woof, goddammit, woof, 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 woof.